This is Building the Nest with Stork. The story behind the wealth is the real legacy. We spend a lot of time talking about how to pass on wealth, but the families who thrive across generations don't just pass on what they built, they pass on why they built it. The values, the convictions, the stories that shape the capital and the character of their family. Because here's the truth. Assets can be inherited, but values must be taught. The $100 bill in the Bible. One of the best examples I've come across about the power of legacy has nothing to do with what funds or stocks that were passed on. It's the story of a grandfather who kept a $100 bill tucked in his Bible, not to spend, but to remind himself that money was never his God. That simple act became a symbol passed down through 3 generations. When I feel pulled by fear or status, I think of that bill, his grandson once said. It reminds me who I am. That story has no market value, but its meaning is priceless. This is what real legacy looks like. Not just money handed down, but a mindset. Something that anchors the next generation when the world tries to pull them off course. Wealth without roots. It's not volatility that unravels most family wealth, it's uncertainty of purpose. When values aren't clear, decision-making becomes scattered. When there's no shared vision, wealth becomes a weight, something to divide rather than direct. The result? Confusion in the face of complexity, inheritance without intention, success without stewardship. It's not a financial issue, it's a governance one. No system, no structure, no story. So what should you pass down? Pass down what shaped you, the decisions you're proud of and the ones you've learned from, the principles that guided you through hard seasons, the moments that changed your perspective, not just your portfolio. You don't need a law degree or trust documents to do this. Just need the courage to be honest and clarity to be intentional. Write it down, share it at the dinner table. Use it to shape family conversations, not just around money, but around mission. Because when the next generation understands where the wealth came from, they're more likely to understand where it should go. Build the operating system. Once the values are clear, structure can follow. That's where a family investment governance system becomes essential, not to control decisions, but to empower aligned ones. Here's what is often included. Recurring family meetings to revisit values, goals, and stewardship. Clear roles and expectations for decision makers, whether parents, trustees, or rising leaders. And an investment policy rooted in purpose, not just performance. A long-term plan for giving, growth, and generational participation. Ongoing education to raise not just heirs, but stewards. Without these systems in place, even the strongest families risk drifting into division. With them, they can grow stronger with each generation. The real legacy. Want to know the real reason wealth rarely lasts beyond the 3rd generation? It's not bad markets, it's the lack of deeper transfer, a transfer of wisdom, not just wealth. The families that endure don't just preserve assets, they preserve values. They pass on stories like the $100 bill in a Bible. They create frameworks to protect both freedom and unity. They make their values visible so they can become actionable. So if you truly care about the legacy you leave behind, don't begin with tax strategies. Begin with purpose. Start with the story that shaped your life. Write it down. Share it now, not just later.